Tonight.
It's a state of shock, right? Because you think your child's going to school only to find out, has been involved in an accident.
How many children are recovering and the extent of their injuries after a school bus rolls over in western Manitoba. Also tonight, not giving up.
The First Nations community has been out on this water every day, and they're trying to break up the ice.
How crews and community members are carrying on the search nearly a month after 2 people went through the ice. Plus, what a disgraced former police officer told court during sentencing on drug trafficking charges.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A terrifying situation unfolded on a western Manitoba highway this morning when a school bus carrying 14 students rolled over. And tonight we're learning some suffered significant injuries in the crash just north of Swan River. Standing by live in studio with the details is CTV's John Hendricks. So John, what is the latest on the condition of these students?
Marilee, a Shared Health spokesperson says 4 people were airlifted to Health Sciences Center here in Winnipeg. They were all in stable condition but required further care. Now in total, 14 students aged 16 to 18 and the bus driver were hospitalized following the crash.
I've been with the family members, and it's a state of shock, right? Because you think your child's going to school only to find out, has been involved in an accident. So it sort of hits your heart in a bad way, in a sour way. Like, is my child safe? How bad hurt is my child?
The school bus was traveling from Sapatea Cree Nation to 2 schools in Swan River when it slid off Highway 10. Mounties believe the bus driver was attempting to pass another bus and lost control. The bus went off the highway, rolled, and came to a stop when it was right side up. RCMP say road conditions were believed to be slippery at the time of the incident. All 15 occupants were taken to Swan Valley Health Center for assessment and treatment.
7 are still being assessed with, they might go, right? It all depends on the extent of their injuries. Like I said, some are spinal and some broken bones. And some are head injuries. So you don't know with head injuries on what the effects are going to be after.
Shared Health initiated a code orange alert at Health Sciences Center as a precaution for a potential influx of patients. However, the alert was later lifted. Swan Valley Health Center in Swan River was still in code orange at last update.
John, the chief mentioned the families of these students. I'm curious, what kind of supports are being made available to them?
Merely a family room has been set up at Swan Valley Health Center with mental health supports available on site. And the Swan Valley School Division says their counselors are there too. The division adds it will continue to support students and families during recovery from this traumatic event.
All right, thanks for this, John. The man arrested in connection to a hateful graffiti spree in our city has been rearrested, but according to police, this latest alleged incident is not related. The force says shortly before midnight Friday, officers were sent to a home in Crescentwood for a report of a break-in. The homeowner said they were awoken by their security alarm and found a man standing inside their home. They shouted at him and he left. There were no reports of damage or theft. Officers found the suspect nearby and took him into custody. 34-year-old Oliver Ederhoff is now charged with break and enter with intent and failure to comply. The arrest happened the day after he was arrested in connection to 14 instances of vandalism, including swastikas spray painted on a synagogue and mosque. None of the charges have been tested in court. Disgraced former Winnipeg police officer Elston Bostock was back in court today, this time for his sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to trafficking drugs on the job and a number of other offenses. CTV's Joseph Bernacki sat in court today and joins us now live with what unfolded. So, Joseph, what happened at today's hearing?
Marilee, both Crown and defense lawyers told the court today there simply hasn't been an officer of Bostock's longevity commit this many crimes during his tenure on the force. Bostock looked subdued today in court and sat by himself. The day started with hours of submissions from the Crown citing more evidence of Bostock's crimes. In court today, Provincial Crown Attorney Ari Milo spoke at length detailing Bostock's corrupt actions while on the force. In the Crown's sentencing materials, court heard the officer was found stealing drugs from a crime scene in October 2022. In October 2024, weeks before he was kicked off the force, the Winnipeg Police Service conducted 2 integrity tests on Bostock as they became suspicious of the officer's activities. The Crown recommended a maximum sentence of 6 years plus an additional year for the drug trafficking. Milo says, in part, Elston Bostock's actions have caused reputational damage to the WPS on a scale rarely, if ever, seen in the history of the service. Court also heard victim impact statements from family members associated with Bostock's charge of indignity to human remains. Milo reads, "Thinking about what happens makes my heart hurt more. Because of this, I don't trust the police anymore. My mom deserved better." Federal Crown Attorney Jana Hyman said Bostock's actions strike at the integrity of policing. Meantime, Bostock's lawyer said the 22-year veteran on the force spent the last several years on the job suffering from depression and heavy use of marijuana and alcohol. They asked Justice Champagne to consider Bostock's many years of service before his life started to spiral. Bostock's lawyer Richard Wolson told the court, "There were many years of good service. There were many years where Elston performed well as a police officer." After the defense spoke, court then heard back from Bostock himself, who gave an impassioned statement acknowledging the family in connection with the indignity to human remains charge, apologizing to them, his own family, and members on the force. "I'm truly sorry for tarnishing the reputation of the Winnipeg Police Service, the members who risk their lives while protecting the citizens with honor and integrity." The defense is asking for a 2-year sentence with a consecutive sentence attached for his other convictions. The Crown is asking for a 7-year joint sentence.
So, Joseph, what's next then for Bostock?
Well, Marilee, Justice Champagne has reserved his sentencing decision until Friday, January 23rd.
All right, thanks for this, Joseph. Search teams are still looking for a 23-year-old woman nearly a month after she fell through the ice on Cedar Lake. The search has been complicated by harsh conditions and a vast search area. But as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, they are not giving up.
It's almost been a month since Tasha Furland and Corbin Constant of Mississippi Cree Nation fell through the ice at Cedar Lake with their pickup truck. Corbin Constant's body was found on January 6th, but despite the best efforts of searchers like the RCMP, Hutterian Emergency Aquatic Response or HART team, and Mississippi Cree Nation's Fire Department, Tasha Furland has not been found.
Our people are determined that the search will be successful, and we're keeping going until we find her.
How far is it out? 300 feet.
The HART team is using several pieces of equipment to find Furland, like a remotely operated vehicle and a marine scanner inside the waters of the lake. It's this technology that helped them find Corbin Constant.
Kind of a mix of emotions. Of course, we're devastated, but also really relieved and grateful that he was able to be recovered.
Chief Heidi Cook of Mississippi Cree Nation says the discovery of Constant acted as a boost, renewing hope they will find Furland soon. Paul Mandel from the HART team says they've been on the ground since before Christmas, but with a big search area and volunteers having their own day jobs, Mandel says prayers are needed.
I've seen them working extremely hard in all the worst weather conditions here. Cutting holes with chainsaws.
All for the same goal of bringing Furland home. Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Less than 2 weeks after it opened for the season, the Nestawaya River Trail at the Forks is closed.
There was just too much standing water and a lot of slush. It's not exactly the safest experience you want.
The warmer weather has caused the Forks to shut down the trail on the river as well as the rink under the canopy. The Forks says crews check conditions each morning and determined it just wasn't optimal for skating.
But we just want to make sure conditions are the best for people to get out and enjoy them. And, you know, if it gets a little warmer, just pop open the website, take a look, and head on down, or don't. Or come down and have a drink, and come down and enjoy the Forks in a different way.
For those still hoping to lace up their skates for a spin, the rink at the CN Stage and the upper overland trails remain open. You can check conditions and which skating areas are open on the Forks website. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. For those disappointed over news about the river trail, the good news is it's cooled off quite significantly.
Yes, it has. Really, all throughout much of the overnight hours until about mid-morning, Marilee, we were sitting at about +3 degrees, so you can understand why they made that call. Even 9, 10 o'clock this morning, still above freezing, 2 degrees and then 1 degree. Then eventually, by the time we got to around 11 o'clock, we started to slip below freezing. And then, boy, we just tumbled those temperatures all throughout the afternoon along some very strong and gusty north winds. You might have felt those. A lot of places saw temperatures fall, but there were some warm weather records set yesterday. We'll take a look at those coming up. When temperatures are going to drop even further, when they're going to rise again and then fall. I mentioned that temperature roller coaster. Well, we are on it right now. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, it is -12, partly cloudy. Winds out of the north at 36 kilometers an hour, giving us a wind chill that makes it feel more like -22. The pressure, it's rising, and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 76%.
Thanks, Colleen. Premier Rob Canoe is calling on Ontario Premier Doug Ford to keep selling Crown Royal. Ford is pulling the popular Canadian whiskey from store shelves in his province after maker Diageo announced a bottling operation would move to the U.S. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Canoe is concerned about the impact that could have on jobs at the Gimli plant where Crown Royal is made.
Premier Rob Canoe took a tour of the Diageo plant in Gimli where Crown Royal is made to show support for workers while sending a message to his Ontario counterpart.
I'm here in Gimli because I'm standing up for people's jobs. I am concerned for people's jobs here.
Canoe is calling on Ontario Premier Doug Ford to keep the popular whiskey on LCBO shelves.
You are going to hurt Canadian jobs. You're going to hurt Manitoba jobs if you follow through with this action. And so I've asked him to reconsider.
Last week, Ford said he was moving ahead with his plan to remove Crown Royal from the government-run stores in Ontario after Diageo decided to relocate a bottling plant from Ontario to the U.S. And even after a phone discussion with Canoe on Tuesday, it appears Ford is not budging.
As sure as I'm talking to you, that Crown Royal is coming off the shelves.
Well, I think that's ridiculous on his part. I mean, what is he trying to prove with it?
Ontario is one of the largest buyers of alcohol on the planet, so it has people in Gimli worried about what this could mean for the local facility.
The plant means a lot to this town, a lot of jobs.
Ford is of the belief Diageo will move all operations south of the border. Canoe says the company has told the province they are staying put in Gimli.
We called Diageo and said, are you still committed to Gimli? And they said, yes, we'll give you the verbal reassurance that we're committed to our Gimli employees.
And to prove that commitment, the province says Diageo is paying for a $19 million transmission line so it can switch from natural gas boilers to an electric system at the plant. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Gimli.
Winnipeg police will soon have a new tool to reach for instead of their gun or taser. The force confirms it's acquiring an unspecified number of 40mm launchers, similar to the ones you're seeing on your screen. A spokesperson was not able to say how many they're receiving or which company is supplying them, but they will be reserved for officers who have received the proper training. The launchers have an advantage over energy weapons, batons, or pepper spray because they allow for more distance between the officer and the subject. The weapons fire impact rounds, typically made out of a dense sponge or foam meant to incapacitate but not kill a person. They're being purchased with nearly $250,000 from the province's Criminal Property Forfeiture Fund. Winnipeg's drinking water treatment plant is going to need at least another $38 million worth of work to fix problems identified since the plant opened in 2009. According to a city report, 2 issues still remain of the 6 originally found. The first relates to a sodium hypochlorite system used to disinfect water, which failed twice within the first 6 months of use and was then put out of service. The city has been outsourcing the chemical ever since and is still trying to determine whether it makes more sense to continue outsourcing or to produce its own. No cost estimates are available for that project. The other has to do with rehabilitating the concrete used in the processing tanks.
It's going to take a very long time to do this kind of work because we have to continue treating the water, supplying water to Winnipeggers while restoring, fixing the deficiencies in the concrete walls.
Head of the Water and Waste Committee, Councillor Ross Eady, says the first phase of the three-phase project will take until at least 2030 at a cost of some $17 million. The second and third phases are budgeted at a combined $21.7 million, but Eady says those costs will likely rise. The city notes none of the problems have compromised Winnipeg's potable water supply. Still to come tonight, a delicate diplomatic balance.
Would not be good for Ontario and Canada, and it sure the heck wouldn't be good for the U.S.
When we return, how Donald Trump's latest threat could impact talks between Ottawa and Beijing. Stay with us. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil added $1.65. The loonie slipped slightly to 72 cents U.S. Gold futures lost $15.60. The TSX closed fairly flat. The Dow Jones dropped 398 points, while the Nasdaq was down 24 points. The holidays are over and the numbers are in for the holiday checkstop program. Winnipeg police checked just under 2,800 vehicles. 102 drivers were found to be driving under the influence of alcohol or cannabis. 15 were charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. 77 immediate roadside prohibitions were issued. 9 drivers failed drug screening tests for cannabis, and 146 traffic offense tickets were issued. The highest blood alcohol content was more than 3 times the statutory limit, and 1 impaired driver was involved in a multi-vehicle collision. The Manitoba government is sharing a new roadmap aimed at reducing poverty in our province.
Pathways Forward is more than just a strategy. It's a commitment to action, to accountability, and to partnership.
The NDP government rolled out its Pathway Forward strategy this morning. The 5-year plan focuses on helping 3 groups: seniors, children under 5, including babies, and youth aging out of care. The province wants to make sure these groups have access to health care, education, and safe places to live.
To ensure that Manitobans, have the opportunities that they need to thrive, and also to have a Manitoba that everyone is included and no one is left behind. So we've already been doing that work. We will continue to do this work. We'll be guided by the vision and the targets in our strategy.
Families Minister Nahani Fontaine says targets and strategy initiatives will be shared in upcoming reports. The province developed the strategy with input from more than 3,000 Manitobans over the past 2 years. Automaking powerhouse Ontario does not want cheap Chinese electric vehicles in the market, but neither does Donald Trump, and the federal government is very sensitive to the fact decisions made on Prime Minister Mark Carney's Beijing trip could impact the all-important upcoming talks on the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Free Trade Agreement. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
The U.S. president toured a Ford factory close to our border in Detroit and gave upcoming CUSMA trade talks a shrug.
It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it. Because we don't need Canada product. That's the thing. I want to be a nice person, but we don't need. I want to build the cars here, not in Canada.
Donald Trump also doesn't want cheap Chinese EVs.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And flanked by Michigan lawmakers, Ontario Premier Doug Ford urged Mark Carney not to back down on Canada's 100% tariff on them during his trip to China.
It would not be good for Ontario and Canada, and it sure the heck wouldn't be good for the U.S., and it wouldn't be good when it comes to negotiating with President Trump.
Canadian government sources say to expect some progress on punishing canola tariffs, which China slapped on in retaliation for the EVs.
They've been absolutely devastating to the industry. We've lost over $1 billion Canada-wide. Frankly, just even for my farm, I'm just under $100,000 myself, and that really hurts.
But with Saskatchewan's premier now joining for some Beijing meetings.
Would you take Mo if you didn't expect some relief, some schedule of lower tariffs on canola? Probably not.
Many are wondering if that means EV concessions are on the table.
China's being
very savvy in the way that it's picked areas to tariff to pit one region of the country against another. I think premiers have been very restrained in terms of their approach on this, in terms of not trying to divide the country against itself.
In a briefing ahead of the Prime Minister's China trip, federal government sources spoke of addressing trade irritants on both sides systematically, but wouldn't share details on conversations around canola or EVs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
For the first time in days, some Canadians have been able to speak by phone to loved ones in Iran, although internet remains cut off. This as regime officials say thousands have been killed in protests, which have been met with brutal force. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
These are some of the images airing on Iranian state TV, which are said to show the aftermath of nationwide protests that have been met with brutal force. For the first time, authorities have given an overall death toll, 2,000 people killed, while also blaming the United States and Israel of inciting the protests.
The young one, they will participate.
Dr. Shahram Azam knows just how ruthless the Iranian regime can be. He was a doctor in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps when in 2003, the regime arrested Canadian photojournalist Zara Kazemi, who was later brought to his hospital. He says Kazemi was missing fingernails, had a broken nose, and her skull was fractured. There were also signs of rape. She later died.
There wasn't any chance it happens by accident. At least she was beaten, if not torture.
In 2005, Azam, his wife and daughter fled to Sweden and applied for asylum in Canada. In the 2 decades since he left, he's watched protests unfold in his home country, all met with brutal force. But he says these protests, happening in both big cities and small towns, feel different.
And I hope it's the end of this brutality, this regime, and these things happening to my people.
The extent of the protests and subsequent crackdowns in Iran are difficult to gauge as internet remains cut off and phone service is spotty. Protests have also spread to cities around the world, including here in Toronto, where this afternoon members of the Iranian community gathered outside the U.S. consulate. Today, U.S. President Donald Trump told protesters in Iran that help is on the way, but declined to clarify what that means.
Trump has vowed to intervene militarily on behalf of the protesters, encouraging them to keep demonstrating. While the U.S. had previously said they wanted to find a diplomatic solution, today Trump said all meetings with Iranian officials have been canceled. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Russia launched a major second drone and missile attack on Ukraine in 4 days, striking several cities. One attack in the northeastern Kharkiv region killed 4 people. Elsewhere, several 100,000 households were without power in the Kyiv region. Ukrainian officials say the strikes focused on the power grid amid freezing temperatures. The capital has grappled with severe electricity shortages for days, but the mayor says last night's strikes caused the biggest power outage the city has faced so far. Greenland's prime minister made it very clear today his country chooses Denmark over the United States. The PM met with his Danish counterpart, insisting Greenland does not want to be owned or controlled by the U.S. and suggested the hardest part lies ahead. A government minister added it's unfathomable America is discussing taking over a NATO ally and says people on the island are very worried. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance will host a meeting with his Greenland counterpart in Washington tomorrow. A bipartisan U.S. congressional delegation is headed to Copenhagen later this week to show unity with Denmark. Bell Let's Talk Day is January 21st, a day inviting Canadians to take a moment for their own mental well-being and to reach out to others. But before then, a handful of Manitoba organizations are receiving support for mental health care.
For so long, mental health and addiction were silent and invisible, yet these are common, treatable health issues. I really feel the tide has turned.
Bell Let's Talk is donating $325,000 to 14 community organizations across Western Canada. 5 of those are here in Manitoba. A $30,000 donation to the Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba will support the creation of a dedicated trauma-informed seclusion room for youth experiencing acute behavioral or psychiatric crises.
25 years ago, we had very few kids come to our emergencies room presenting with mental health challenges. Pre-COVID, we had about 1 to 3 present daily. Now we're looking at anywhere from 12 to 15 kids a day presenting with mental health challenges.
Funds are also being provided to KidThink, Altered Minds, Carmen Wellness Connections, and the Holistic Ongoing Opportunities Development, Facilitation, and Management Services. Since 2010, Bell Let's Talk has invested more than $194 million in mental health initiatives nationwide. Bell is the parent company of CTV.
No game is easy in the NHL. Obviously, this time of year, especially, teams are really ramping up.
The Winnipeg Jets look to keep the momentum going, and tonight the team faces a familiar face on the other bench. Your hockey report just ahead.
And after sunshine tomorrow and temperatures returning to more seasonal values, we swing right back up above freezing. To start off the long-range forecast, 2 degrees on Thursday morning with the next low-pressure system. Look for those temperatures to fall back off in the afternoon, down to -12 overnight. We'll stay put there on Friday, likely with a few flurries along the way. And then, yeah, check out that weekend, folks. -22 is our high temperature Saturday, under a mix of sun and cloud, up to -16 on Sunday, -18 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud on Monday.
A third Manitoba-based curling team is heading to the Scotties. Skip Caitlin Laws and her rink are headed to Mississauga later this month. Laws received the last spot in the 18-team field as the highest-ranked squad, which hadn't qualified via provincial playdowns. She heads into the tournament as the fourth-ranked team in Canada and is looking to win her first Scotties championship since 2015. Beth Peterson leads the other Manitoba rink, while Carrie Ainerson's squad will play as Team Canada. The Scotties get underway January 23rd. The Winnipeg Jets are looking for a third straight win tonight. However, the big talker at morning skate was former bench boss Rick Bowness coming out of retirement.
I really enjoyed having him as a coach, so you know, what was nice to hear is you know, he's feeling really good and in a position where he feels he can come back and coach with this opportunity. So you know, excited for him.
Bowness stepped down from his head coach position with the Jets in the spring of 2024. Now he's back, this time at the helm of the Columbus Blue Jackets. During his lengthy career, Bowness has been head coach for 7 different teams, dating back to the original Jets in 1988. Meantime, the Jets are wrapping up a 5-game homestand against the New York Islanders. Scott Arniel says his team has got to play heavy like they did against Las Vegas and LA last week.
They're getting wins, and they're right in the middle of that thick of things in the East there, and getting great goaltending. So another challenge for us, and getting these heavy games, like I've always said, that you got to do it more than they try to do it. You got to play on the inside. You can't get caught on the outside, and yeah, it's a grind.
Some question marks in the lineup for tonight. Forward Morgan Barron was in a non-contact yellow jersey at practice, and defenseman Neil Pionk was not on the ice. Connor Hellebuck gets the start in net. Puck drop from Canada Life Centre goes at 7 p.m.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And if you're wondering just how warm those temperatures got yesterday, Colleen has a rundown for us.
Some areas actually set warm weather records, including the city of Brandon, just narrowly eking out a new record, just besting the previous record of 3.8 set 30 years ago, reaching 3.9 yesterday. Look at Flin Flon. 98 years that record stood, 2.2 degrees, almost a degree and a half warmer there yesterday, reaching 3.6 degrees. So yeah, a lot of those records set in central and northern parts of the province. Grand Rapids, Norway House, and the Pas also setting records yesterday. Today, as I mentioned, we were up well above freezing for many hours before we dropped right off throughout the afternoon along those northwest winds, which has been helping to clear out the sky from north to south throughout the course of the day. You can see that continuing to happen there on the radar. In northwestern Ontario, a little bit of light snow has been falling there over the last couple of hours. That's expected to taper off to flurries before it clears out there as well along along those very strong north winds. And you can see how the north has already cleared right out. And temperatures are falling. I will show you those in just a moment. It'll be a cold night across the province, at least relatively speaking, more seasonal really than anything. But you can see this drop off here. Really, we clear right out in the next few hours. Before we even get out of the evening, we'll be pretty clear all across much of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. That's going to allow temperatures to fall into the -20s overnight here in the south, setting us up though for a bright start to the day. Lots of sunshine for most of the day for most of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario, but almost like a curtain being pulled. You can see those clouds being pulled over the Saskatchewan border into those border areas on the Manitoba side. That is ushering in the next low pressure system, and you can see it's not just snow coming out of the Northwest Territories, potentially freezing rain as well along a warm front that's going to send temperatures back up as we see this system move in late on Wednesday night. Overnight, we'll start to see that snow swing further down into the southeast, including Winnipeg. It will continue on Thursday. It will swallow up much of the province, not as much in the southwest, but more so here in the southeast, also east into northwestern Ontario. Snowfall amounts aren't expected to be particularly significant in the south, with the temperatures being quite mild. A little bit more so, you'll see more snow in the north in the vicinity of 8 to 12 centimeters forecast at this point in a very generalized way. Tonight, we drop down to -22 degrees. Now, if that suddenly seems cold, the normal overnight low for this time of year is -24. The sky clears late. Those strong northwest winds continue, but they do ease up by commute time tomorrow morning. Sunny, -21 with a high of -14 degrees, with the wind shifting late in the afternoon out of the south at about 20 kilometers an hour. A few clouds tonight across the northeast, as cold as -28 over Thompson. Sunny most of the day in Thompson tomorrow before a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, -16. Gillam and Churchill stay in the -20s tomorrow in the sunshine. Flin Flon, best chance of overnight flurries in the northwest. You'll likely see that continue tomorrow with a high of -7. Norway House will be sunny for much of the day before some clouds move in later on. A few clouds tonight over the southwest, down to -21 in Brandon, -18 for Dauphin. Cloudy with temperatures as mild as -2 there, -6 for -2 in Dauphin, -6 for Brandon. Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, a few clouds, temperatures in the -21, -22 degree range. Sunny for most of the day. A bit of a range in temperatures, -14 for Winnipeg. Flurries early this evening in northwestern Ontario. Sunny for most areas except for Dryden tomorrow, highs between -10 and -14. Now, Jeanette took this fabulous photo. You can see the wind farm there. This was out, of course, near St. Leon here in the south. And this next photo is very Manitoban. I don't think it gets more Manitoban than that guy. That's out at Fort White Alive. That bison, that photo was taken by Michael. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, we've all heard the line, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broken, you can try bringing it to the Spence Repair Cafe.
A repair cafe is a clinic where you can bring household items that are broken and in need of repair. So maybe basic appliances or even clothing or bicycles.
The cafe is a new initiative for the Spence Neighborhood Association, and it's happening every second Wednesday at its headquarters on Ellis Avenue. The association has a tool library and some volunteers on site to help people fix everyday objects for free. The cafe's coordinator says it's all about giving appliances and other items a second life.
There's a whole bunch of reasons why a person might choose to repair something rather than replace it. It saves money, it saves resources, it keeps things useful and rather than in the landfill. So we think there's a lot of different reasons why someone would come out to this event.
The Spence Neighborhood Association is also looking for handy people to help fix things and teach people how to do it. The first cafe runs tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8 at 615 Ellis Avenue.
We do not want to see anyone else suffer needlessly.
Coming up, why an interpretation of medically assisted dying is being tested in court and the implications for the country. That's next in Medical Watch. Back now to the PM's pivotal trade mission to China aimed at expanding markets for Canadian goods. Julian Karagesian is a lecturer at McGill University in the Department of Economics and joins me now to talk more about what's at stake. Julian, good to speak with you.
Well, good to be here. Thank you for having me.
As the Prime Minister looks to reset trade ties with China, we are hearing from the U.S. President today who says He's not interested in Canadian goods or renegotiating trade agreements with our country. So I'm curious just how important it is now for our economy that this meeting in China goes well.
Well, I think it's extremely important because, as you know, as we all know, we're all familiar with these numbers now. We export about 1/3 of our economy, and 75 to 80% of that has traditionally gone to the United States. And we know that in the last year and 2 months, big barriers have gone up to trade with the rest of the world, but in particular against Canada, Mexico, and China from the Trump administration. Tariffs, and some of them are very high, particularly the sectoral tariffs. So our trade share with the United States is set to fall, and it's actually fallen. There's been a trend decline since the turn of the century in our trade with the United States as a share of our economy, and we have to make that up somewhere. Canada is a trading nation, and a lot of our prosperity comes from international trade, and so we have to replace that somewhere, and China's the second largest economy in the world. And we're very complementary economies. And so there's immense scope to increase this trade.
A couple big fronts getting a lot of talk ahead of this meeting. Many are calling on Carney to lift those tariffs on the Chinese electric vehicles in exchange for lifting tariffs on our canola. Others, though, like Doug Ford, are urging him not to concede. What do you see happening on this front?
Well, I think, you know, Premier Ford is right to be anxious about that because Ontario is the most exposed province to the Trump tariffs. You know, automobiles and steel and also aluminum. Aluminum is more Quebec and British Columbia. So they're the most exposed because the tariffs, really the brunt of the Trump trade policy is aimed at the automotive sector and manufacturing. So I do think that there's room to eliminate the EV tariffs and to provide relief for our Western farmers and Eastern fisheries. We can do that. However, we can tether that. We can make that conditional. We can replace the tariff with a quota. And we can tell China, look, you can export this many cars to Canada, but we're inviting you to produce here as well, so that we don't lose our automotive sector. And so, as the Japanese did in the 80s and 90s, and as the Koreans did, they produce automobiles in Canada for the Canadian and U.S. market. We can invite Chinese EV makers. We can make it part of the deal that they come here and open up production facilities and hire Canadians and pay Canadian wages, and so that we don't lose our manufacturing. There's a deal to be made in there somewhere that satisfies both Ontario and the Western provinces.
Interesting. All right, what other common ground do you think our country shares with China where we could see some tensions thaw?
Where we can see more trade, do you mean?
Yes.
Yes, well, here's the thing, that the scope is immense because China is a manufacturing superpower. 1/3 of the world's manufacturing is in China, and Canada is an energy and natural resource superpower, and we can also be a protein superpower given the huge amounts of land we have in Alberta's beef and pork and canola and soy in the prairie provinces. We're so well endowed with land and agriculture and energy and water. So there's a lot of scope for trade because the two economies are complementary. We can get many of our machines and consumer electronics from China, and we can feed them with oil and natural gas and canola and soy and potash and you name it. And so the sky's the limit. And there's also two-way investment opportunities as well.
Well, Julian, I want to thank you so much for your take on all of this tonight. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
The CFIA has issued a nationwide recall for no-name brand beef burgers because of a potential E. coli contamination. The recall affects 1.36 kilogram packs of no-name beef burgers with best before dates of May 5th, 2026. There haven't been any reported illnesses associated with this recall, but the CFIA says if you have one of these products, you should either throw it away or return it. More details are available on our website, ctvnews.ca. A challenge to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is underway in a BC Supreme Court, and it's raising questions over whether publicly funded faith-based hospitals should be allowed to ban medical assistance in dying.
It is crushing to know that Sam's last memory on this earth was that of extreme pain caused by the transfer.
We are learning more about Sam O'Neill, a 34-year-old who had terminal cancer. She died in 2023, but in her final hours, she was forced to leave Vancouver's St. Paul's Hospital to receive an assisted death. That's because the Catholic-run, publicly funded hospital doesn't allow MAID. Her family says that exemption robbed Sam of what was supposed to be a peaceful goodbye. Her mother is now the lead plaintiff in the constitutional challenge, which could have Canada-wide implications. A ruling is expected by late summer. The Centre for Addiction and Mental Health says harmful alcohol consumption habits developed during the pandemic persist in Ontario today.
We thought that with time, we would see declines in some of these, in that distress, for example, and harmful drinking. We're still experiencing some of those challenges that first became evident early in the pandemic.
The agency surveyed more than 3,000 Ontario adults. 12% reported symptoms of alcohol dependence. That's down slightly from 2020, but well above the 7% reported pre-pandemic. It also found the percentage of adults reporting frequent mental distress climbed from more than 16% in 2020 to nearly 19% last year. Researchers couldn't determine the reasons, but say the data highlights the need for more investments in mental health and addiction supports.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Get ready to give your heartiest hey-ho. We're getting our first look at the activities and performers ready to light things up for Festival de Voyageurs. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Jade Eagleson.
Well, hey-ho! The Festival du Voyageur is getting ready for its 57th edition. Horse-drawn sleigh rides, ice sculpting, tubing, and an outdoor winter playground are among the activities and contests set to return from February 13th to the 22nd. The kitchen party features performers like 5 Alarm Funk, Katie Tupper, Ivan Flett Memorial Dancers, and more on multiple stages. Voyageur Pride Night will return on February 20th with Velma Jones from Canada's Drag Race. On Louis Riel Day, there's free bannock, a Métis parade, and a Métis market. Festival goers 18 and older can enjoy caribou and, new this year, a bière brûlée, a heated beer with a spike from that fire that caramelizes the flavor. That sounds tasty. You can find a full schedule of events and buy passes on the Festival de Voyageur website. The creator of Dilbert the comic strip has died. Scott Adams announced in May he had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Dilbert became one of the most popular comic strips of the 1990s. It poked fun at the everyday indignities of office work, which many readers related to. The strip ran until 2023 when hundreds of newspapers stopped carrying it in response to racist comments Adams made. He continued publishing the comic on his website for a subscription fee. Scott Adams was 68. One of the biggest K-pop bands in the world is embarking on a world tour in April, and the North American leg has 2 Canadian dates. Fresh off their mandatory military service in South Korea, BTS will play Toronto this summer. BTS will play Toronto's Rogers Stadium August 22nd and 23rd. Pre-sale begins January 22nd, and tickets go on sale to the general public on January 24th. The K-pop megastars have been on a break since 2022. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Will Trent. High Potential is at 8, followed by The Rookie at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It is all right here tonight on CTV.
Dating all the way back to the 1880s.
Long before we had 40-foot buses, horse-drawn transit carriages were a common sight on city streets. We'll tell you how you can see it all for yourself still ahead.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
-12 right now in Winnipeg. Those winds still coming from the north at 36 kilometers an hour. Quick edit for our viewers in Swan River. Your temperature isn't staying put at -18 all day tomorrow. You swing up to -2. Just wanted to get that in. Highest temperature today here in Winnipeg was +3 before the temperature slid to -12, which is where it is right now. Down to -22 tonight. The sky clears late tonight. Sunny tomorrow. -14 is the high. Up to 2 Thursday morning. Falling with snow coming through.
Thanks, Colleen. Winnipeg Transit underwent its most recent update in 2025, and now the city is showing off how much the system and Winnipeg has evolved over the last 150 years.
It's a powerful record of change in the built environment. There's incredible street views showing Winnipeg neighborhoods and communities.
City archivists poured over 6,000 photos from Winnipeg Transit, which until recently were stored in 26 binders. They've since digitized 600 of them. The prints date all the way back to the 1880s and feature everything from horse-drawn streetcars to the orange and yellow buses of the 80s and 90s to today's modern fleet.
A lot of the work that needed to be done was to describe and caption each photo, and that meant doing a lot of research to identify the location in the photo, to date it, just to provide meaningful descriptors so that it could be more readily utilized by a broad range of users.
The snapshot of Winnipeg's transit history is available through the Winnipeg in Focus website, the City Archives database, with more photos set to be added in time. A select collection is also temporarily on display at City Hall, and all 6,000 of the photos are available to view at the city's archives. Pretty cool walk down memory lane.
Absolutely, or ride, as it were.
There you go. Very good.
There you have it.
All right, that does it for us this evening, but we hope to see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a good one.